So yeah, for those watching, I'm sitting with Slikour here. If you already South African, I'm sure you already know who he is. For some of you guys there, I can just put some links in the description and you'll be able to understand what it's all about. But essentially, you have the largest entertainment independent media platform, I suppose. Is that what you can call it?
Yeah, it's well, the biggest legal music platform.
Yes, music platform, specifically music.
I mean, music. There are other platforms that are bigger than ours that do other things, but
Yeah.
For also like the focus, our focus is on a specific demographic or genre. So in that aspect, yeah, we are the biggest.
Right. First, I think I should ask if you, 100 years from now, someone, if you had to, he had to listen to this interview, how would you explain this moment in time to them that they understand what was going on in the time?
Well, it depends on what context. I mean, it's 28th of July. It's 100 years from today, so it makes it like what makes it like 21,000 what 20.
I'm not good with math like that, so I'll let you do the math.
21,000 something, 21,018.
Yeah.
19. It's 21,019. So if we say 21,019, I mean, being black is still a thing. We are valued on a paper money currency. It's a piece of paper. We valued on that, and we that makes us important. In this day and time, black people are trying to develop processes in South Africa or industries for themselves to make more of that paper money, because it doesn't come from them, that currency or that way of trading. So we run a platform called SlikourOnLife, and there's this thing called media, which is basically like how information comes across. It's always been owned by white people, or at least it's being bought here by white people also. We are running it, and we owning it's like our first really black owned type of platform like that, that's influential amongst young people who are dead now. In 2019 they all dead now.
For sure.
It's influential among young people who into culture, who are disenfranchised, and this is our way of owning something of ours, so it can convert to this paper money called equity, this thing that we value ourselves on, and we can literally put that money into more young kids who can create more ideas that are owned by minds who come from culture and mostly from the hood.
Right. So I grew up listening to your music, so I'm not really surprised that you turned out this way.
Yeah.
But look, I've seen a lot of celebrities or musicians doing business within the realm of the music industry, because that's what they understand more, right? Yeah. But it has always been a momentarily thing. Or usually their businesses are more successful when they are actually doing music, because the heart, they can sell product quite easily. What has been your greatest inspiration or the drive, or how has it been that you're successful in that space, that you don't really rely on being the celebrity? I'm sure this can run successfully without anyone knowing you. I respect that. How have you managed to set that up?
I mean, it's a process, still a process. You need to realize where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. And I realized that, with the power of fame, it's a strength. But when you remove that, do you become weak? So you then start learning to embrace that weakness, so you can actually develop it into a strength. So my thing was that I need to be able to make a living without me jumping on stage, without me doing anything, that requires me to get fanfare. Look, SlikourOnLife it's like by default that it's got an audience and it's grown, but it's a media platform. So with that, you learn what you got to do with business. I've made a lot of mistakes before. I think more than me saying I figured it out, I think I've been given a chance to learn from my mistakes and to improve. Maybe versus other people who never had that second chance or third chance or whatever the case may be. But I've been given a lot of chances to learn. Because there's a lot of things I never knew also. And I'm always open to learning also. And also I love what I do. That's you only open up to learning if you care about what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people watching this. Some of them are South African, they know who you are, others are not. They're just listening to you as a businessman. First of all, what does it mean at this point in time to be black in South Africa? And how do you introduce yourself to people who do not know anything about you?
I don't like introducing myself. I like just showing what I do, what I can do.
Right.
I don't like people creating their own perception. I mean, in business, there's a document that speaks about what you do. People meet the business and you just present it. So they interact and engage with the business.
Yeah.
But introducing myself to anyone is neither here nor there. It's not important. I think what's important is what we can do, and because we all energies, as people, so we gotta find ways to find how we collaborate, why our paths are crossing, and what's the opportunity to collaborate, what's the opportunity to learn, and that's it. Because other than that, you are your ancestors. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like if I introduce myself to people, I need to literally just do a whole calling of my whole ancestors, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
my
yeah.
family line. So rather you understand what I do, and then through understanding what I do, you probably start understanding who I am.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it's interesting because it's now difficult to put you in a box. Should I introduce you as a rapper or a businessman? Which speaks to a lot of saying, you do a lot of things, which is good. It's all about what you do now. It becomes more dynamic in terms of, okay, where does he belong? Especially that the world like to put people into boxes in a lot of ways. But so at this point, for someone who's listening to this, do you think it's more important to specialize or to float when it comes to, say, to have a successful career today?
I think that the trick about today's time is that you need to be doing everything. As if you're a worker, you need to do everything. When you're building something, you need to do one thing. So, if you're working and you want to have various sources of income, you got to literally try to put one thing and do it. That's what we call the hustle, you know. When you're building a business, what we call entrepreneurship, you got to just cut everything out, put all your energy in it, and put your mind to it. And sometimes it's a sacrifice of, even if you have an idea from this business that you think maybe we should do this with the business's name, if it's out of what you said you want to do as a business, you should be able to discipline yourself. So I guess it depends on what side of the table you're at. Are you looking to work? Are you starting something? And then when you've got enough money to spread your money into different investments, it's not like you're doing a lot of things. You're just spreading your money into different investments because you got enough money to put money into some coal company, put money into an entertainment company, money into, a fashion company. So if you've got that type of thing, you start becoming like either venture capitalist or just an investor. But also you can still be a serial entrepreneur. But that's maybe like pockets of money. That's like hustling in my view. Pockets of money here, pockets of money there. The thing about a business is that a business has got books. You sometimes making a loss. Even when you're making a money, even if you can sit there and say I've made X amount of millions, and then they come back and but you got a loss of 200,000.
For sure.
That's a business. When you hustle, you can make 13 million and you can still you would have pocketed most of it because, you know, you don't really have fixed costs. You know, you have to pay what you got to pay, and you can get away with the costs are not as tight, I think, as like when you're building a business where you got employees, you got office space, you got like equipment.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those things are fixed. You know, you tie yourself down to them. You know, so you know it depends which way you're taking. You know.
I remember you on your interview with Casper. You said you were, I think, advising him on, you know, having liquid cash. So, I mean, I have a YouTube channel, we call it Hardcore Crypto. So one of the things we talk about is we have a concept of follow the money, you know. So being liquid is part of the things that we talk about. But you say that there was an investment that came across, but it needed you to have, I think it was 900,000 or something.
Yeah, it was like $500,000.
Yeah. $500,000, yeah, and then you didn't have it, and then years later you realized that became a booming operation that was worth more.
It was one of the biggest mining companies bought by Glencore.
Right.
After some time. So, you know, that's how big it was, you know.
It's learning through the through the hardships. It's like walking the talk.
Exactly.
So now, if that you know, it's one thing when you look at an operation like that. Okay, this worked, and I didn't jump in. Yeah. Everybody kind of gets that. But also, there's another aspect where if you have money, you're looking for things to invest in. That also becomes a challenge now. It's like, which one do you pick? So I wonder if somebody now comes to you with a pitch, how difficult it is now or how easy is it for you to identify what you think this would be good or would be hard? Or do you think it's still a 50-50 game?
I mean, for that, you know, I'd need to get like my accountant involved. If I need to get into that, I need to see whether I'm interested or I like it.
Yeah.
But like once we get real technical, you need to kind of get an accountant involved, and he needs to kind of go through the business over the years and go through it like year by year, month by month, and ask all the valid questions to make a decision. So it wouldn't be like an emotional decision, like, oh yeah, let's do that, you know.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that you believe is starting from nothing and you want to build it, maybe that's when you'd make a decision like that. But I mean, to inform your decisions, you got to get people who know how to read the books.
Right.
You know?
But I asked that question because I wanted to get, if you had the funds at the time, would you have taken it out? Would you have invested in the mining operation?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, but even still, I would have invested. I never had the knowledge I even had now. Even then, I would have invested simply because of the person that was involved in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and his track record and the things that they've done. That's the only reason I would have invested. But like it was still a new thing. They were still building money for it. I mean, maybe I'm sure they had books for it also.
So for someone who has never touched money at all, say they've never even touched $1 million, for example, what would you recommend? Look, the stress has changed for, I think, when you have 50,000, it's different. Maybe you're just worried about what you're going to do with it, right? When you have, say, 500,000, you think about what you can do, but at the same time, how to not lose it. And I think the hard part I think anybody can make money, obviously, anyone can, but then how do you keep it? So from someone who do not have a lot of financial literacy, say a rapper made some good money, they're banking maybe 2 mil before tax anyway, what would you recommend that they do if they're not invested in any other business, they have no investment experience whatsoever? But they want to stay rich.
Once again, you know, if you don't know what to do, you gotta put the money like in the best interest bearing account.
Right.
That's out there in the market, you know, from my view.
Okay, so what does that look like now in this current state to you? Because
the one that I know from FNB is a money maximizer.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that because that's. I bank with them. It's not like
you market for them, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not like they don't do nothing for me. You know, it's just I would like to mention someone else that actually does, another bank that actually does help us. You know, But like,
But you know what you said there is interesting, that you think of a brand or a company, and then also you have to think about what they do for you.
Yeah,
Because,
they don't do
you know, in our generation, people are more proud, for example, to market other people's products for free. Say, where you can be proud to wear Nike shoes and post them on, on your Instagram. But then most people aren't actually courageous enough to even sell their own products.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like my thing. I was thinking about it, just like, you know, you gotta. I mean, I'm just speaking with the bank, like just from a bank perspective. Any bank that doesn't believe in giving me a home because I'm a creative, that looks at my books and goes, yeah, we don't know if we should give me a loan. They're not doing nothing for me. Similar to politics, where, you know, they will create a law for influence, like a law for alcohol and advertising, and say that celebrities mustn't be used. But like, and then the same celebrities are going to be aligning with the same political party that's creating the laws, so they don't eat.
Yes.
Especially when you're creative, and like, you know, it's not like the broadcasters are making money for you like that. You know, it's not like you're making money from music. So once again, you know, the government also comes in as a third force and says, no, you brands who are working with these celebrities, you can't pay them, you know. And they create more laws for creatives to make money. When you think about it, majority of the guys coming from the hood, they first interaction with like any type of money is through talent.
Right.
Because that comes naturally, you know. So the same black guys who are making the laws are creating barriers for the youth who are sitting and smoking all this shit they're smoking.
Right.
Because the employment doors are closed, or because the industries weren't built for them, and so something that they naturally can make money off, now they're creating another barrier. So I mean, I'm very conscious. I never wear any brand, you know. I mean, I do, but I don't personally wear a clothing brand and put it out there, except that Metane, because because it's a local brand, you know. That's the only brand I'll ever mention, you know. But like, unless like brands also, and it's not because there's a problem with Nike, Reebok, Puma.
Yeah.
It's because I think they haven't started working with us in a way that like, at least working with our talents in a way that like, you feel like, okay, cool, you know, there's some value in us, you
Yes.
know. And you know, and because the talent doesn't know any better, they think they're hot when they're wearing it, you know.
Right.
I go through Instagram, like you're saying, you know, the only way people wear traditional things, if you go KwaZulu-Natal, or these blankets in Lesotho, which also come from Germany, also these blankets that they wear, all those things are things that are done because people see it, you know, all the time. That's what you guys always wear. So, and then the whole world starts adopting it, you know. But we always wearing their stuff. We always posting their stuff. We always and it's more like it's nothing to do with the brands, you know. It's got everything to do with us not just getting a wake up call, with us not knowing how important we are. Just when we wear anything from any brand and we walk in public and we talk about the brand, and it's not even a brand that's like putting in any millions to build schools in the hoods, you know, build syllabuses, if they bad teachers, move good teachers, and start paying good teachers like in the hood to educate the kids. All these things are things that I think that like these multi-billion companies can resolve in many townships, you know? But none of them are doing that. So, but all of us are wearing their stuff because we think that like we think that there's something better on the other side, when actually being better is how we see ourselves, you know?
Right. It's empty on the other side anyway. But then, so
on the other side, there's nothing that's for you anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, everything is we gotta create things for them. You know?
So you know, this is now a good point, because I've been looking for who I can ask this question. So I thought that maybe a lot of popular celebrity people, they kind of wear those kind of things because it adds to their value as a person. Do you think it takes away from an artist if they're wearing things that people don't know about?
I think it means I don't only think it's just the artist. I think that it's the consumer. What does the consumer also care about?
Right.
See, the consumer is also being indoctrinated by the world. So the consumer values the things that the artist literally is also saying. Well, I grew up around this place and this is what we wear and this is dope, and half of it is nothing that they own.
Yes.
So it's not just an artist thing. Also, it's a consumer thing. But like, there's no space to blame each other. There's really no space to blame each other, but we can only enlighten each other. So this is not like the artist, this is not the brands, this is not the consumer. This is let's get the information out, let's enlighten each other.
It's a cultural thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to start planting our own food, and we started creating our own food in our own gardens, if all of us had to do that, what does that do for the stores that are selling the food?
Yes.
If we had started creating more natural products, from one of us knew how to create a soap, a natural soap, because there are people that make their soap. If we had to learn all those skills, teach those skills to our children, teach those skills, I mean, what does that do for the economy?
Right.
Now, why should we be teaching our people this stuff? Because the brand you are currently drinking while watching this, or eating while watching this, is literally, or wearing while watching this, is literally like making money off you not like thinking about all these things.
So you the way you think and the way you talk, I wonder what it translates as when you're speaking with people that are in that space right now. How do you come across as the pops or the guy who is preaching, or do they get frustrated with your talks?
I don't need to talk to anybody, and I don't need anybody to listen to me either. I try not to.
No, but I've heard your conversation when you interacting with say creators, right? You always go back to this, to ownership and all this talk, and then there are people that are just not on that, rightly so.
Yeah.
I wonder what it comes across as from what you have seen. Do people contact you or asking for advice sometimes?
The job of our job is not to worry how it's received. Our job is to give.
Right. Okay.
And our job is not to worry who gets it and uses it. Our job is to give.
Right.
And when it's time for us to take action with the power, the energy we have, or the resource we have, we should just take action. It's one of those things that, like, I'm going there whether you're staying or not. I'm gonna be the change whether you're gonna stay conventional or not. That's all it is. It boils down to that. No one is obligated to do anything. It's a free world with free speech, free behavior. So if you're gonna just let things go as they are, then that's who you are,
Yeah.
But for some of us who are able to speak speak what we believe in, and then come with solutions at the same time. I mean, SlikourOnLife is exactly that. It's a media platform.
Yes.
A communication platform. When war happens in every world country, what do they take over? They take over the radio and the television.
Yeah.
Basically, they take over media. So what I do is SlikourOnLife. I created media, and more kids have kind of copied and pasted what we did. That means that there's more media outlets that are owned by us. When now we can tell our story our way. That's all. It's the way.
Have you seen McG?
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy him out? Because when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this actually looks more like a SlikourOnLife fight."
Yeah, McG is what do. But like, I mean, our narrative is wide and it's huge. So if you start a wave where we start speaking, where people start hearing our story our way, by our people, I can't hate on that. I'm on the way. I'm on his way. If I try, put it down, I encourage it. It's the wave.
But then, So for creators, for example, I think it works better as like if you look at it as a career, right, not as a business. If you become more of a tool of the system that can be used, you're more likely to ride a good wave, kind of in sort of easy way, but it's kind of temporary also because you still rely on the system to be successful. But to create what you have done, which is independent, you own it. What are the challenges that comes with your narrative or the attitude that you have with your brand? Because it still have you all about ownership, which I don't think is quite system friendly when you're black. They just not. The system is not used to that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So I wonder if you ever encounter any other challenges that you think if you were just doing the expected way of doing things, you probably wouldn't have.
I don't thrive in other things, this is all I know. And I live by those that are supposed to get it. Those that gravitate are the ones to be with. Don't bring in those that don't gravitate because they'll irritate you in the end.
Yeah.
So I mean, what challenges? I'm going through every other black entrepreneur's challenges, to be honest with you. I'm not going through specifically every black entrepreneur who's trying to make money through the channels of global businesses because you feel that you can add value. You're going to go through challenges. So I'm going through every black entrepreneur's challenge who literally feels that they can make a difference in the world, who literally feels that they can add value for global companies also, who literally feels that like they can authentically place our stories, meaning like the black story, authentically place our stories in the light of credibility and in the light of truth and in the light of authenticity, and redirect the money that's spent to tell those stories to people who actually are living the life, who actually are what the brand is saying they're trying to do. It's really like that job of being a bridge, of really trying to put money in hands of people who are struggling doing it on their own, and brands who literally say we are looking for authenticity. How do we create that bridge and find that true connection, and then everyone wins, that's why I say, it's even though we all these brands, most of them are global, we work with those that want to work and those that really want that that authentic connection.
Yeah.
And also with creatives, we work with creatives that understand that, like, it's just not about the song, it's just not about how dope it is, it's just not about how big you are, but it's a sense of knowing how to have relationships with everything besides your fans, besides your producers, besides the label, everyone else. What is the relationship? Because once you have a relationship, that literally like nurtures business, you know what I mean? That's where the business comes in, business relationship. That's the core of everything, relationships. Once you can literally work on how you manage relationships with people, it creates opportunity, whether it's business, whether it's friendship, whatever it creates, but it creates opportunity. You just gotta let it flow.
So you went on your interview with Youngster, you kind of covered, it was just about time with the Nipsey Hussle's death. So you talked about a little bit about, okay, when you're from the hood and things happen, do you actually go back or what's the position? But then, from the hood, a lot of people go out in different ways, not just creators, but obviously the creators are mostly known. When you come out, whether through business or whatever ventures you're doing, become successful, where is the way, do you think? Can you go back to actually create more, or do you think it puts you at risk? Or if you have to stay and say, I will change this?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna talk for myself and say, I have a vision of I'm gonna make enough money to go back, and we're gonna take our millions and we're gonna build schools.
Yeah.
Starting from the hood that I come from. Not build school, create programs for teachers to start, so we can start empowering the kids. build a pool, find the best kids, and take them through the process from high school to tertiary to intern. So I have a vision of just starting a business that's funded by that's funded by some of our profits and the CSI side of it, because the change is so big that I can go back to the hood and say, got some sneakers, got some kids. But that stuff is not sustainable.
Absolutely.
So we gotta sit here and envision and put it out to the universe that like we wanna create like companies that that are netting 100 million, that are netting whatever. So we could sit with other multimillionaires and just go, let's go to our communities. Let's punch to go fix the things in our hoods. Let's go build the schools. Let's go create programs for teachers, and let's make it something that is cool, because kids know that that's those OGs that did that. I'm not coming to do this. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I could possibly work in one of their companies, because that's what we want to do. So firstly, we got to create the companies that kids look up to, the same way Apple Music, Spotify, and any other cool company that's in culture, Hollywood, the same way all these companies have built a certain level of cool and want for the market to say, I want to work there. We got to build those type of businesses where kids say, I want to work there. Not because, kids say they want to work in different companies because of the money they think they can make, but I want to work there because I know that it's who I am and I can take it this direction.
Right.
We got to build those companies that build that desire, create enough profits, and when we take those profits, we take them back to the community. So we literally take these kids throughout, so they can run these companies and they can create their own companies, even which we could even invest in and help them grow. And then there's more companies like that, like SlikourOnLife, more 10, 20 companies like SlikourOnLife that are black owned, with a black headspace or South African culture, where kids feel like I can fit there, So it's a big job. So.
Cool. So another thing would be how long it took you to become comfortable with money, the idea of money, and also that you actually need it. It's important to make things work, to grow and build things, because when you're growing up, especially from the hood, a lot of people watching this can relate to this. You get, when you're poor, basically the narrative is like money don't grow on trees, money is the root of all evil, that we actually have an kind of a negative association with it, or a dissociation, whereas we can't have it simply because our relationship with it, it's anti. It's like, okay, you don't want that. How long did it take you to come to the point where actually I need money to do things, I want to have money?
Well, it's not money that took me out, it was myself. It was my will, it was my passion, So I constantly remember that move the money to the people, the accounting people, and they got to do everything. But you got to wake up every morning, and your vision and your will and what drives you, it means you got to get hungrier. You got to want more. As in want more change. You can have one idea, you can rap and you can build a blog, and then once you build a blog, you can literally go, okay, cool, how do we monetize it? And then you can build a team, you can get staff, and they can create content. Then you go, how do we can create television content with it? What does it need? How do I go about that? You can say, how do I build? These are literally things that I've been going through. They were not all thought of in the beginning. There was hunger for one, and then you knew, and then once you understood the one, that literally made you see other things. You're like, oh, maybe we could do this. And then you were like, okay, let me study this. And then you started planning. I'm currently planning the next step right now, because you just need to have that hunger that consistently makes you grow. And I mean, it's like, it like perturbs me, because you can that hunger will take you anywhere. It's like an idea I had. Literally, there's an interest for it to go to Africa, which is exciting for me, because I did it. It came from my head. There's a conversation, to take to Africa or whatever, but it came from my head. I just sat and I thought and I said, what's the next step? Or at least it came to me, and I looked at things and I studied and I read. And this idea that no one from Africa, no one who has links, no one with a network, it's not like anyone with a website got me to speak to brands and said I had to do everything. It all comes from here. Even now, when we now forecasting and we go, okay, our thinking can take us there. That's here, That's the hunger, But like that goes back to just making songs in the hood, it was here. It was just,
Right. But you had to actually execute at the end of the day, though.
Yeah. I mean, once you start thinking about it, as you start going, then you start planning. Like even now, when I plan for my next steps, I'm going, so what do I need? That's when money comes in. Do I have enough? Do I need this?
Right.
So that's when money starts coming in, But money is never first. It's always you. Things need to exist. Things need to exist in your head or in your drive without money. And then once you start planning, you go, I need money here, I need money here, I need money here. That literally informs the type of deal that you have with wherever you need money from.
Right.
Because, if you start going, I need money here, I need money here, then like anyone gives you anything and you take it with your eyes closed. But because you don't have a plan, So if you've got a plan, your plan starts placing money here, placing money there, and then this is how this comes back, and that's how you'll be able to appease whoever gets the money or negotiate the type of deal. You know what I mean? Because the guy who literally puts the money is already thinking, well, how will it come back, or how will I make money from you, or whatever the case be. So you got to think about this whole thing first. That's where it starts here, and I think that goes the same. I mean, with artists, as an artist, you always know that I don't have money to go to the studio. So when you get money to go to the studio, or when you do a deal with someone, does it mean that you're taking to the studio? But like besides the studio, then there's the music video. Besides the music video, then there's a distribution. So I can't get in a deal just because you got a studio. Can you do all the other things? So do I do a deal for a studio just to studio?
All right.
You know what I mean? Because people literally don't think of the whole journey. They think of just, this is what I need right now.
Right.
And that sometimes for me is not it's all based on planning. So when you plan, you kind of start, because it's all coming here. It's like, you get this excitement, blah, blah, blah. Then you jump in and you go, but did that, because this, what happens if this happens? What happens? So, even now, as I'm thinking of my thing, I'm going, when I get there and I need that resource, how do I get that resource? I'm thinking of all those things, I'm asking people questions, I'm learning and I'm asking while I'm developing it. I've been developing the idea for the past 2 months now, and I think I'm finally ready. This morning I was working on this rollout plan with all the people that are involved, the research people I was speaking to, the developers. So now something I've been sitting on for the past 3 months, just thinking about this idea, meeting people who said, why don't you, and I'm curating everything now, and with everyone that I've met within the past 2 months, I'm on Monday I'm going to send them a calendar of going, we're launching on the 1st of September. I'm speaking to the brands that need to plug into it, but now I'm sending everybody a calendar going, we're launching on the 1st of September. This is what everybody needs to do. If you can't do it, let me know. Or if you're gonna miss, or if you think it's gonna take more time, then let me know. And that's all. That's all. But you gotta literally take your simple idea seriously. You gotta plan for your simple idea it's the biggest thing, it's a project.
How do you pitch an idea to a brand, to a big brand? So I have this, and I want you guys involved. What is the angle?
Well, I mean, you need to know what they want, and once you know.
How do you find that out?
I mean, because we playing in those trenches, we got people at times who tell us that, okay, this is what time, this is what. Sometimes you don't know what's happening, and you just come with an idea, and they go, no, that's not where we at, but this is where we at. You know what I mean? And then you kind of go, okay, cool. You rework your thing so that you can be aligned with where they at, without losing what you want to do. You know what I mean? So it's conversations at times. You will never know if you don't go with the wrong thing. You'll never know. So some people get so attached to their ideas that they get there and someone gives them feedback and goes, no, this is not where we're at. You got to do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But this guy's so attached to his ideas, not hearing the feedback.
Right.
He's hearing the rejection.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So people hear rejection, but they don't hear like what you got to pick up what people are pushing back and saying is the problem, because you know this is your idea. So who do you think you are to think that you got to figure it out? You got to literally always listen to what people say about what you might look yourself in the mirror and say, look, I look good. And someone says, no, you fat. You don't know you fat till someone says, if you're the only person in the world, you don't know you fat till someone says you fat and shows you what a skinny person looks like.
Yes.
And you don't know you're skinny till someone says you're skinny and shows you what a fat person looks like.
Yeah.
So who are you to come in with, and that's ideas. Ideas are like human bodies every day. People need to see it and go, hey, why didn't you? And then you got to listen to everything they're saying and then put it back, especially if the idea is close to what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Cool, man. I'm glad we finally had this conversation. I know you're busy, so I don't want to take too much of your time. But this is great. Maybe you should just have on SlikourOnLife, just have a live session program where you just talk about, you know, business and funds and stuff. That would be dope, man.
People need to be interested in that. You know?
I think people are interested right now when it comes to these things. You know this girl called Nicolette? Yeah, she's like doing this financial literacy, social media. She now has like 200,000 subscribers, I think, on YouTube. Yeah, it's like, you can see there is interest, but what I've seen is that it usually doesn't come from people like you. That is where the problem, and to me, that's where the problem was. Because when I search for a video to look for this kind of information, it's usually old white guy, you know, in a suit that's not really as cool, and so it feels like he's not talking to me. But when I see guys like you, I look at Puff or I look at DJ Spoo or T-Boy, to me it's like, it feels that's something you can relate to, you know? So I feel like there is a need for guys like you to speak out on this issue, to this kind of things, and just give more game, I think, to a lot of young people. Yeah. Cool, yeah, but I appreciate your time.
Your bank needs to come and they need to partner with me, and they need to put in the money. I'm speaking to you, watching. Your bank needs to do that, because that's how the bank starts taking care of your people. You know, because then because you know, I'm not a fully I'm not an accredited financial advisor person or an advisor, but I speak on my experience.
Yeah.
So your banker needs to come in with that accreditation, and if your banker comes in, that means he's thinking of you. So these are the small things that we say banks just need to think of to show that they're with us.
I think for the most part they aren't, to be honest, because even to say that you have to speak about money when you're a financial advisor, I've had terrible advice from financial advisors. You know, so I just think it's more of a monopoly thing than actually help, because people lose money every day, you know, that they invested with like the big investment companies at the end of the day. It's more like saying, what I think is, you say you have to be maybe have 4 million to be an accredited investor, but then there's no regulation to how much money you can spend at a casino or you can drink with. You know, but there's a limit to what you can invest in. I just think it's rigged to some level, I think. But yeah, cool, man. I'll leave you to it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right.